Greetings everyone. So we'll now see what statistics we can obtain from this following TT model. So for that we'll not change any parameter first. We'll first set a base. So we'll dry run this model as it is. When the model was simulated, we obtained the following four statistics. So you can see we have the latency plot for each of the nodes. N1 represents node 1, N2 represents the node 7, RC1 represents the type of traffic, that's the rate constraint, and we have the other statistics like the latency and Mbps of each traffic. That can also includes the minimum, maximum, mean latency. We also have the packet plot, like how many packets were sent each second, so from bridge and other nodes. We also have the individual statistics of each transaction, like at 12.27 microsecond we have node 1 sends to bridge 5 at 12.28 second microsecond, node 2 sends to bridge 5, and so on. For each cycle we have this, and also we can see what are the clock delays that were implemented in each. For this one we have 6.1 for microseconds, and so on. Now we'll see how these parameters work and what are the value affect the model by comparing it to the uh, simulation to the result that we just obtained now. So like first we'll start with the basic parameter like the link distance. So it's obvious that if we increase the link distance, the throughput will decrease and the latency will increase. So we'll say what happens when the link distance was changed to 1000 feet to 5000 feet. When the model was simulated, we obtained the following statistics, that is placed on the right. The left one is the denotes the older statistics. So you can see that the latency in the older one was less than that with the new link size. So earlier it was 20.67 and now it's 28.80. Earlier the maximum latency was 309.79 microseconds and now it's 317.92 microseconds. Also the Mbps was reduced, like the throughput was reduced. So earlier it was 0.82079, but now it's 0.8072. So latency increased and the throughput decreased. We can also verify this from the other stats, like yeah, so the left one shows the older stats of each transaction while the right one shows the new statistics. So you can verify it from here, the first display was from at 12.27 microseconds, but in the new one we have the 20.40 microseconds for the first transaction, and so on for the rest of them. So like ultimately it shows that the latency and the throughput was affected when the link size was changed. In TT models, to reduce the latency, we always have to calculate the timings according to the task completion, the task size, and the bandwidth allocated. So if you randomly increase the task size and the bandwidth, it will surely affect the latency. So I'll see how it does. So I'll increase the task bandwidth to 10 Mbps and the size to 1024 bytes. And similarly I'll do for other also. So Ethernet is used in others too, so same Ethernet is used. So even if I increase uh, the bandwidth in first and second also, then the third one will also be affected. So we'll see that. So yeah, when we simulate this, so yeah, on the left hand side you can see the older latency plot, and on the right hand side you can see the new latency plot. So it's quite visible that the Ethernet latency has increased because the N1 to N7 and N2 to N7 plots have crossed the 0.2 millisecond latency, whereas the old one did not cross the 0.2 millisecond latency. So it's quite clear that these parameters affect the latency. We can also verify this with other statistics. So the left one shows the latency statistics of the older one, whereas the right hand one shows the newer latency statistics. So as you can see, for the the Ethernet N3 to N7 via Ethernet. So you can see here the newer latency is 28.8, while the older one was 20.67. Although we have not changed anything in the traffic block. So, and the Ethernets we have changed where the N2 to N7. So in the N2 to N7, the newer latency is 182.40 and 249.98 for the minimum and mean respectively, but in the older one it shows 20.67 and 29.7. So these latency are obtained with the increased byte size as well as the bandwidth. And as we have increased the bandwidth of the second traffic block, so the throughput of the N2 to N7 in the newer statistics have also increased to 10.44. There are variety of combinations can be created by changing the header bytes and base periods. Actually, these are the requirement based parameters. So the requirements decide what should be the header size and other stuffs. So there's one more concept in this, that's the redundancy concept. So inside one node we have a concept of redundant nodes. For example, you open the block, you can see that there are 3 nodes inside one node itself. So at some places there can be requirement of verifying the information at the output. So these redundant nodes, that the node A and node C, can be used to cross check the information at the end, because they also carry the same information and can be routed to some other path. And another use can be if any places, if one of the nodes goes down, like for example my main node goes down, so we can use the node A or and the node C as for the backup. So you can specify the redundant nodes by double clicking on this node block, and you can specify 1, 2 or 3 how much redundant nodes do you want, and you can accordingly number them, and you'll get the same information at the output. So as I discussed earlier regarding the routing table, so 1A, that's the redundant node, will go to bridge 4, but the node 1 will go to bridge 5 and node 1C will go to bridge 6. So a same information from node this particular node to goes to all 3 bridges and then goes to node 7, and the node 1A will go to bridge 4 and then bridge 4 go to 7A. So 7 when you open this block also, so this is node 7A and this is node 7C. So the same information is being collected at these all 3 nodes. So this can be used to either verify or cross check or act as a backup plan when any one of the nodes goes down.